What if the President of the United States ran the government like a mob boss, rewarding loyalty, punishing dissent, and turning every agency into a weapon of personal power? This is Newsayer. Subscribe now. We make sense of what matters. Through a sweeping campaign of executive orders, investigations, and backroom deals, Trump is reshaping the presidency into a personal machine, one that protects his allies and strikes down anyone he sees as a threat. It's not just rhetoric, it's action, concrete, targeted, and relentless. In recent weeks, we've seen it laid bare in his public split with Elon Musk. Once one of Trump's biggest supporters and business beneficiaries, Musk's companies thrived on federal contracts, while the White House shrugged off obvious conflicts of interest. But after a single political disagreement, Trump turned on him, threatening to rip away billions in contracts and publicly warning that if Musk backed Democrats, he'd face very serious consequences. This is the playbook. You're either with him or against him. And if you're against him, federal power becomes a hammer. The message to the rest of America's elite is unmistakable. Loyalty is rewarded. Dissent is punished. And Musk isn't the only example. Trump has revoked the security clearances of former officials like Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, and even Republican critics like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. He's ordered the Department of Justice to investigate Act Blue, the Democrats' grassroots fundraising platform. He's imposed punishing executive orders on law firms tied to causes or clients he dislikes. He stripped funding from universities like Harvard, cutting billions in research grants, attacking their ability to enroll foreign students, and launching an unprecedented barrage of federal investigations from at least 6 agencies. Harvard alone is now facing 8 separate probes. The Federal Communications Commission is investigating 60 Minutes over its editing of an interview with Vice President Kamala Harris. CBS's parent company, Paramount Media, is under scrutiny as it attempts to merge with Skydance Media. The reason? Trump doesn't like what they air.
His administration arrested a judge in Wisconsin and a U.S. representative in New Jersey who resisted his immigration agenda. Meanwhile, those who fall in line receive protection. The DOJ dropped corruption charges against New York Mayor Eric Adams after he backed Trump's immigration plans. The SEC backed off enforcement against the crypto industry, where Trump's family has growing financial interests. And the pardons? They're rolling out fast. From January 6 rioters to loyal Republican officials, Trump's use of presidential clemency is aggressive and unapologetic. Legal experts say no other president, Nixon included, has ever used this power so personally, so publicly, and so often. It's a protection racket, legal scholars argue. Back the president and you're safe. Cross him and you're in the line of fire. The speed with which he turned on Elon Musk is proof that no one, not even the richest man on earth, is immune. And in many ways, Trump is living the authoritarian fantasy Richard Nixon once only dreamed about. During Watergate, Nixon raged privately about punishing enemies, journalists, Democrats, even musicians like John Lennon. He wanted to revoke licenses, conduct wiretaps, deport opponents. But most of those threats never left the Oval Office. They were kept in the shadows, buried in memos, and sealed by resistance from inside his own government. John Dean, Nixon's own White House counsel, once wrote a memo outlining how to use available federal machinery to screw our political enemies. He thought it was so outrageous it would be dismissed. Instead, Nixon's chief of staff wrote "great" across the top. But most of it didn't happen. The IRS refused to audit Nixon's enemies. Federal judges blocked his attempts. Congress pushed back. Even Nixon's own appointees balked. That resistance doesn't exist anymore. Trump is saying the quiet part out loud and acting on it. He's surrounded by loyalists, backed by a compliant Congress, and supported by a Republican base that sees his aggression as strength, not abuse. The courts are now the only serious check on his power. Since returning to office, nearly 190 rulings have blocked Trump's actions. But even that firewall is fragile. The Supreme Court, with its 6-3 conservative majority, has already handed Trump major wins. It voted to immunize him from prosecution for official acts, opening a dangerous door to unchecked presidential behavior. And while lower courts have held the line, their rulings could be overturned at any moment. Nixon operated in secret because he knew what he was doing was wrong. Trump does it in the open because he knows it works. And that's the difference. Nixon feared exposure. Trump uses it as a weapon. He's showing the nation in real time that presidential power can be used not just to govern, but to control, to intimidate, and to demand loyalty. The real question isn't whether Trump will keep using federal power this way. It's who, if anyone, can stop him. This is Newsair. Subscribe for sharp, essential updates on power, politics, and the future of democracy.